To take a seat, or you want to pull a chair over or sit in the couch area in the back, that's fine.
Anyone else for beverage?
Very good. Well, Ed, it's all yours. Sure, yep.
So everyone, I'm going to introduce to you our chef teacher tonight, Father Henry Zeno. Henry actually is a twice over alumnus of the AAC program. First time.
2004. No, excuse me, 1994.
And how many years were you a priest then?
I was 12 years a priest then.
12 years. So where's Isaac? So he was a priest about the same number of years when you came on sabbatical. Isaac's our youngest.
Very good, very good.
From Chicago. So Henry was here in 1994,
Yep.
and then again in
19.
So which was actually my first spring class.
Yep.
I was here in the fall, and then so Henry was one of my sons, my 18 sons. Isn't that sweet? So a few years ago, and Henry loves to cook, and I first really became aware of this during COVID, because I'm sure that so many of you during the shutdowns are struggling to find ways to stay in touch with your people, with the parish. And Henry started doing this through cooking. So he would, through Facebook, he would videotape cooking classes, and his parishioners could view those classes. He could interact with them that way. He started inviting different people, maybe other priests. I don't know if you ever had people from the parish.
Yep, sure did.
Some people from the parish, and then so when you could have small groups, then the rest of the parish could see these people, around the kitchen table with Henry cooking. It was just, I thought, wow, that's really kind of a creative way during this otherwise horrible period to keep in touch with your parish. And so Henry and I started talking about it, and I said, do you think you'd be willing to come and do a class for deity priests? And well, this is your fourth time to come and offer this class during the spring program. This time though, Henry has sort of expanded. He's brought all sorts of people with him. He's brought a couple other ICTY alumni, Father Bob Johnson, who was on sabbatical at the same time. Bob's from Worcester Diocese. And where's Tom? Father Tom Furland over there. Tom was also here that year, and Tom is also from Providence. Tom was the former pastor of Carl's church. So Carl replaced Tom. So when you hear him talking about that horrible former pastor, all those stupid things he did. Yeah, we all know that. We've been there, done that. And then he's brought some parishioners of his. There's Donna and her wife, Bob, right there. Or his husband.
She's the wife of.
And then there's Bill and his wife, Tammy. So they came to help out, and so thanks a lot. Let's do it. And then finally, I'd like to introduce Father Joe Brodeur. Joe is what we call a fifth-year priest. He's here in Rome. He was just ordained in the springtime, and his first assignment was with this guy, Father Zeno. And Joe has returned to Rome to finish his license, What are you working on?
Liturgical theology at the Santa Croce.
Okay, so he's working liturgical theology. So he's the guy that asks all your liturgical questions. Besides cooking, he's also Joseph Baker, and so he did the bread here. All right, well good. I'm going to stop talking and turn it over to Father Zeno.
I do.
Very good.
Good man.
Well, welcome all. It's great to have you here. As Father Ed said, that we were here in a group just before COVID hit, and we began talking about doing something like this. First, it was going to be with just continuing education directors, which Father Carl Facette came on in May of 2023, I think. Was that sound right? About? And then we went into doing it here on the sabbatical. This is the largest group since 2019. When we were here, as I mentioned previously, it was the best sabbatical group ever. They took our pictures off the wall, until now, of course. But we were 29. And I think, what do you have now, 25, Ed? 24? 24? We were 29 guys. So we were, a couple of guys were like in broom closets living, you know. And all 4 years, Father Joe has been helping. Of course, he was just a seminarian at the time, but he was dishwasher, set up the table, take down the table, show me where things are. But then I found out when he came as my assistant this summer, he's a great baker. I'm not a baker. So he did the focaccia and he did the dessert. So at a certain point, we're going to switch cameras so he can tell you about what he did. So it's a great joy to have him. It was a wonderful summer. We had a great time together. Again, welcome. So I'm going to show you a few things. Obviously, if we did a whole full cooking lesson, you've been here since 8 o'clock this morning when we were here, and you'll be bored by now. So I'm going to show you a few things, I'm going to tell you how we did things, and then we're going to sit down and have a wonderful meal. Now, I'm not sure if any of you have tried these sweet and spicy nuts that were around. These are pecans that are done kind of in a agrodolce kind of fashion. So they're sweet, and yet they're spicy. It's filled with brown sugar and regular cane sugar and black pepper to taste, and cayenne pepper, also ground cloves and ground cinnamon. And they're so easy to make. And so this is one of the ones I can actually show you. You take 1 egg white to a pound of pecans. And then you add to it a tablespoon of vanilla, which I just happened to bring from home. And there we go. And that's about a tablespoon of vanilla, okay? And then what you want to do, and I'm going to come out in front here, so Father, is that you want to whisk the egg yolk so it becomes, the egg white so it becomes frothy. So you don't want meringue, you just want to keep whipping the egg white, and as you can see, it's just beginning to get a little bubbly. I'm going to get past you there, Father. You can see it's just getting a little bit more bubbly. This becomes the glue for all your sugars. Now, all these recipes that I have been doing, see how it's becoming bubbly and everything? So that's what you call frothy. You can all see that back there. So this becomes the glue for the pecans. Did you see that there? All right. So when you get to that level, you throw in a pound of pecans. They just happen to have. And then you just kind of let them, I should have a spatula over here. And you get all that mixture on the pecans because that becomes the glue. Now when you tasted them, it almost has a Christmassy taste to it, huh? So I cook these up at Christmas time and give out bags, everybody I know, and they keep begging for more. And then, as I say, it has a bunch of sugars on them, and I will find them here someplace. The sugars are someplace. But it's brown sugar, and it's, here it is, brown sugar and white sugar and cayenne and cinnamon and ground cloves. And again, you just mix it. And once it's all mixed, you're going to love the smell. We have smell-o-vision here. Can you smell? Has that nice kind of cinnamon, Christmas kind of smell. Yeah. Can you see the cloves and everything? And then you just put it on a sheet pan, 30 minutes at 350 degrees. Done. and then you look like a genius. You give them out to your parishioners. Oh, Father, these are so good. Yeah, well, it took a lot of work. That was a good 90 seconds, wasn't it, Father Joe? I think, huh? You know.
Right on.
So, what's that? So 30 minutes at 350 degrees. Now, for any of these recipes, you just have to get my email from Samantha, the secretary, and then you say, Father Henry, I want this, I want that, want this other thing. And give me a second here. So I want to speak to our people who are watching this online. Our parishioners from St. Mary's and Our Lady of Mount Carmel, former ICTY participants. I meant to welcome you at the beginning as well. And some of you have been here for this event. Some of you have been to my parish for our fundraising for our school. They do a silent auction. They auction me off. Last year we raised $12,000 in 2 auctions, which was great for our scholarship fund. So welcome to all who are watching online. So this I'll cook up later. And then some of the appetizers we had. This was a crostini. Crostini is just really a piece of toast. But you toast Italian bread, very thin. You just put it in a toaster. Now I put it in the oven with olive oil and stuff like that, but you can put it in the toaster. Just got a small piece of the Italian bread cut in half. And on top of it is sweet and sour onions. You chop up red onions, a cup of brown sugar, a cup of red wine vinegar. You cook it down for 15 minutes. That's the agrodolce. And then on top of it is a cranberry relish. That's my own one, but you can buy a cranberry relish. It's fine. Just top with that feta cheese. So you've got the whole combination of flavors. I saw a number of you tried this one. This is a big hit. Again, very, very, very easy. The mushrooms. This is one that was uncooked, but it's just chopped up olives, green olives. You get that, Father? Yeah, very good. Chopped up green olives, chopped up green red peppers, roasted red peppers, and spring onions, a little Parmesan cheese. Put in the oven, I think it was 25 minutes at 350 degrees. Done. Healthy, no meat in it. It's very vegetarian, not vegan, but vegetarian. Okay? And then we're going to switch cameras because Father Joe's going to tell you about the focaccia.
All right. The great handoff.
Nice.
So, I have a French last name. I don't have a drop of Italian in me. When people ask me what my family is, I say we're only Italian by association because I come from a very Italian area of Westerly in Rhode Island. I was also blessed to be in Bristol, where there are a lot of Italians, and have been blessed to spend 5 years here in Rome, learning little bits and pieces from students that have studied here and also restaurant owners around the city. But there was one guy on my hall who really liked to make focaccia pizza. And so he showed me how to do it a couple years ago, and I did it once for Father Zeno this summer, and he said, oh, we'll have to do that for the ICTY priests. It's a fairly simple process, it's just a little more time consuming. So you want to start the dough the day before. Very simple, flour, salt, water, yeast. So you let that sit, let the yeast activate, but then you're going to fold that 3 different times with some olive oil until it starts to form a ball. Then you're going to put it in a greased or an oiled glass bowl, put it in the fridge to rise overnight for 24 hours, then bring it out, and it's going to come to room temperature, keep rising. You're going to split it into 2 loaves, so we had 2 sheet pans that we did. Let it rise in the pan, and then we doctored it up with some rosemary, garlic, little bit of pecorino or parmigiano, and then you bake it for about 10 to 20 minutes. But you do 2 different levels. So you start it on the bottom so that you can bake the bottom really nicely. Then you move it to the center so that it cooks all the way through. And you can serve it with olive oil to dip if you want any more flavor, but really pleasant as is. But you could do this as pizza, so you can add mozzarella, tomato. I've done it with potato. That's very common here in Rome to get potato pizza, really tasty. You can add feta, all kinds of different cheese on there. But great way to start off your meal, and or even a main course if you're doing it as pizza. So
Now, Father Joe, Father Monsignor Johnson had asked if he could put ketchup on it.
by the American persuasion, you can put ketchup on just about anything. So we'll leave that to a piacere, to the taste of the individual.
How about sriracha?
Sriracha, you could. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a heat guy myself, but I mean, however you like it. However you like it. Very good.
All right, we'll switch cameras.
Sounds good.
All righty. So tonight for our 4-course meal, we're going to start not in a real Italian way, because in Italy, the salad is last. When I grew up as a kid, I'm half Irish, half Italian. face of Ireland, stomach of Italy. Salad was always at the end of the meal, all right? And this way it's done here. Insalata mista, it's the end of the meal. But we're going to have it to start with. And we're doing a little presentation tonight. So we have a cucumber ring. Let me come out here so you can see it. Some have already tried it already. So the best way to do a little cucumber ring is to have English cucumbers. They're longer. They don't sell them here. So these are regular cucumbers that are put together with a toothpick. Be careful for the toothpick. Toothpick is not edible. Not edible at all. All right? And then there's two kinds of lettuce, just a regular kind of romaine lettuce and arugula. And then on top we have a slice of blood orange, a couple of the nuts, the spiced nuts, and then some roasted red tomatoes, slow roasted, 2.5 hours, chopped cherry tomatoes up, Italian seasoning, salt and pepper, oven, 2.5 hours. And they become they become so sweet. The vinaigrette dressing, vinaigrette is usually half olive oil, half balsamic or red wine vinegar. This one is half olive oil, a quarter red wine vinegar, and then 4 or 5, I think it was 5 squeezed blood oranges, which add the acidic to it, okay? And so this will be your first course this evening. And presentation, we were talking beforehand with my staff here, that you eat with your eyes first. So if something looks good, and then you smell it, like you smell the pecans, oh, those smell good. Then you eat with your tongue. So you want it to look good. The presentation is almost everything. And you want it to smell good. I hope when you came in here you said, oh, that kitchen smells really good. You want it to smell good. And then you eat it and it all comes together. So that'll be our first course this evening when we go over to the tables. Now, in a true Italian tradition, we're going to have a pasta course. I make my own pasta. 4 years ago, when I was here on sabbatical, 4 years ago, 2019, I donated a pasta machine up there, which is missing a cup. I'm going to find that cup that they need online when I get home. But it's a Philips machine, makes wonderful exuded pasta. You put 2 cups of the flour in, you put egg and water, you press the button, you pour yourself a drink, and the rigatoni comes out. I mean, it's not really fatto a mano, made by hand, it's fatto alla macchina, made by the machine. But it's very good, and you'll see. So we have that. It also makes a gluten-free version. I don't think anybody's here except one of my staff is gluten-free, but the gluten-free version is wonderful. And the sauce we're going to have is, I had to make it beforehand, it's a whole sheet pan filled with cherry tomatoes, olive oil, salt, and pepper. In the center is a big bulb of garlic. You cut off the top, olive oil, salt, and pepper. Throw in the oven, 400 degrees for 40 minutes. All the cherry tomatoes are roasted down. The garlic is soft. You squeeze out the garlic into a blender with the tomatoes. You throw in 1.5 cups or so of ricotta cheese, Parmesan cheese, basil and parsley. Blend it all together. Pour it over the sauce. All done in a blender and an oven. And again, I have those recipes for you, and it's a lot of fun to do. Main course tonight. It's Sicilian. It's a Sicilian meat roll. And what it basically is, for those of you who are American, it's like a meatloaf kind of glorified. So a Sicilian way of doing a meatloaf is you put pignoli nuts in and you put raisins. I put cran raisins in. And then your regular mixture with cheese and egg and whatever. If you do meatloaf or anything like that, whatever it is, just add the pignoli nuts, add cranberry, and the best way to make sure your meatloaf tastes good, you take a little piece, put it in a frying pan, taste it, like cook it. And if it tastes right, good. If it doesn't, it needs more salt, more garlic, more something, whatever. You just add it to it. Spread it out in a sheet pan on parchment paper. So like a jelly roll, you just spread it all out. And on top of it, you put prosciutto, provolone slices, and arugula. And then you roll it like a jelly roll. All right? In the pan, 450 degrees for 25 minutes with olive oil on top. It's a huge hit. Huh? I have the recipe for you. If you want it, it's easily done. That's our main course this evening. We have a vegetable. We're doing the Roman broccoli. Maybe you've seen it. It's called broccoli romanesco. And it looks weird. It's kind of like a cross between cauliflower and broccoli, and there's kind of like these conical heads, but it's wonderful. You boil it first, chop it all up, boil it, and then saute it with garlic, olive oil, and salt and pepper. Taste is phenomenal. but it looks different. It's sometimes hard to find in the United States. Whole Foods generally has it, or any kind of market that's really more pricey than normal would have it, but it's really good. And then tonight we just have little white and red blitzed potatoes done on top of the stove, salt, pepper, butter, olive oil, and dill. And you just cook them until they're done. So that's our main course this evening. And since I'm not a baker, I try my hand at it. Father Joe's the baker, so we're going to hand over the camera again. I'm going to take yours out of the refrigerator so you can tell them what you did with the classic Italian, I guess Father's going to get that, the classic Italian dessert tiramisu.
So the good news is about tiramisu is there's actually no baking required.
That's true.
It's something that looks and sounds kind of impressive, but it's very simple, which is why it's become one of my favorite things to make. So the basis of it are these little cookies called lady's fingers, or savoiardi in Italian. So very easy to find in any store here in Italy. You can also find them in the States. They might be a little bit differently shaped. But this is the basis of the tiramisu. So you're soaking these in coffee. Some people like to really saturate them. I like to just do a little dip so it's got a little bit of body. But as far as the rest of the cake goes, it's a cream with 4 ingredients. And if you do it the traditional Italian way, it's just eggs, sugar, actually sorry, it's only 3 ingredients, eggs, sugar, and mascarpone cheese. But there's a process to give it the body that you want for the cake. So first you're gonna separate out the egg whites and yolks. And kind of like Father Z was doing with the egg whites, you're gonna whip them, but you actually wanna bring it to stiff peaks for a tiramisu. Much easier to do that with a standing mixer if you have an electric beater. Just do it until you can lift the bowl upside down and it doesn't come out. And then you're gonna put that aside, take the egg yolks, beat those with sugar, and then add in the mascarpone cream until it's really come together, nice and fluffy. Fold back in the egg whites, and that's gonna be the filling of your cake. So you put down a whole layer of ladyfingers soaked in coffee, then a layer of cream, then another layer of ladyfingers, another layer of cream, and then just dust it with cocoa powder, and then you're in business. Leave it in the fridge to chill for at least 6 hours. We left it overnight. I find that it honestly gets better with age. The longer you leave it, kind of the more it comes together. But that'll be our finish here tonight for a little sweet. Tiramisu means throw me up. And as my spiritual director would say, you have to be prepared for the lasciami giù. That follows after the letdown when you come crashing down after the caffeine and the sugar wears off. But there's not much caffeine in here, so don't be too worried.
If you go to an Italian playground where they have swings, sometimes you hear little children saying tiramisu.
Tiramisu. Mm-hmm.
And I remember a priest, a seminarian was here, he said, couldn't figure out why she was asking for dessert. But tiramisu means pull me up, to swing higher and everything. Mm-hmm. So very, very good question.
You can, yeah, so a lot of American restaurants will add a liqueur in there. This is just straight. But yeah, what did we do with, this summer we came back from a mission trip to Jamaica, and we had gotten a little bottle, was it rum or?
Banana rum.
Yeah, banana rum. So we said, oh, what the heck, we'll try it. It was pretty interesting. Yeah. I would do it again. Banana rum tiramisu.
It was really good. We had just come back, we take our teens to the Mustard Seed Orphanage. We've done it for 9 years. And we found the banana rum.
Yeah.
It should taste good.
So give it a whirl. Say it again.
You had the rum with the coffee mixture, and you dipped the thing in?
I think when I did it this summer, I actually added it to the cream. But you could also just, because the coffee is just for dipping these, and in that case, it's going to be pretty straight alcohol, whereas if you incorporate it into the cream, it might distribute the flavor a little bit better. But yeah, experiment. You can end up starting a trend.
Very good. All right, I'm going to give this back to you there, Padre.
Very good.
Wonderful. So, any questions before we move into our dinner mode? It's these past 4 years, 4 times that I've done this, it's been such a joy, and so thankful for Ed Linton for continuing to invite me and put up with me and all the things that we do, and thankful to all my parishioners and priest friends who came with me, because when Ed told me it was going to, last year it was what, 12, 13 priests? Yeah. When he told me how many it was going to be tonight, so I started recruiting people to, hey, let's go to Rome. And they were all on board, so that was fine. And again, to those who are watching online, I hope you enjoyed it. And again, just like for my brother priest here, if there's any recipes you want that you've seen tonight, you just email me at the parish, either one of the parishes. I'd be happy to send those recipes to you.
And Mrs. McKenna, would you mind saying a word about what Father Zeno's wearing?
This is for everyone back home. I made aprons for all of us with our initials, but look at this. I mean, come on. This is Enrico. He's the boss.
The boss.
The boss.
The boss.
So, questions? Any questions?
Just wondering about the sugar content of the there.
Yeah, so there's a lot of sugar. So obviously in the tiramisu there's sugars.
Tiramisu is only a half cup in each sheet.
Okay, and then the nuts have half cup brown sugar, half cup white sugar. The salads, just the squeezed oranges, which has sugar content. The pasta, it's tomatoes. Is there some sugar in the tomato content of that? But I don't add any extra sugar to things, except, well, the nuts you have to have that. So, you know. But the great thing about these nuts is they'll put them in a Ziploc bag. Well, they won't last for 2 months because you'll eat them, but they'll last for 2 months. They stay fresh and whatever. So, in fact, I made the ones you've been eating. I made at home 2 weeks ago and brought them on the plane with me. So they're good.
Stealing my customs and eat them?
No, they didn't steal anything. In fact, I brought the tomatoes and I brought the cranberry sauce in my luggage, wrapped in. I made them the day before I left. Wrapped them in bubble wrap and put them in, and no problem, no problem. Going back the other way, you sometimes have problems if you have food stuff in your, back to the United States, you have that kind of issue.
We'll make sure we eat it all so you don't take anything back.
Right, there you have it, yeah, exactly. Other questions? No? So we've set up for 35, and there's regular water, sparkling water, red and white wine at the tables. So it's 4 courses. Just give us some time to get each thing out. We'll try to keep portions small so you're not inundated with too much food. And we hope you enjoy yourself. Thank you for being here, continuing this wonderful program at the North American Congress. God bless you all.